I was worried earlier in the week when the Indians got swept by the Royals, but we have now just swept the Mariners. But we're going to kick it off here with the release of the Browns schedule. It is pandemonium on Browns Twitter tonight. We are going to do something that's a little bit different. We're going to have a Browns win pick'em. We're going to go, I guess I'll say around the horn with making a little bit of a fantasy pick'em on the Browns schedule. Which game is going to be the most probable win for the Browns? And we'll have an undisclosed or to be determined wager on this thing. We'll figure out what it actually means about 40 weeks from today.
You know it's good when you get into a bet and you don't know the stakes. Win, lose. It's going to be
there's
fun.
Plenty of time.
Yep.
So
just win.
Random here. We've got Eric with the first pick. We've got Drew with the second pick. And we've got me with the last pick here. But Eric, you've got the number one pick. What is going to be the Browns' easiest win with this newly released schedule?
Well, it would appear that most games are easier to win at home, and I couldn't think of a better opponent to play that has no quarterback or no good players than the Miami Dolphins. And I'm going to take them November 24th, 1 o'clock kick. Get a nice win, 4:15. We're all sipping victory Bud Lights and off a win that week.
I like it. It's 1 p.m. game, a little bit later on in the season. And, okay, we'll most probable win, the number one pick. We're going to beat up on the Dolphins. Drew, it's your pick this time. What are you looking at next as far as the most probable Browns win?
Yeah, that was a good pick. That was the one I had, number one as well. I think the Dolphins are going full Sashi Brown. I think they are actively trying to tank. That's what happens when you get rid of your quarterback and you have absolutely no plan whatsoever at the position. So certainly a good pick. I'm going to take week 14. I'm going to take this as one of the weeks where our quarterback owns a Tiger. He has said that to Kevin Hart, I believe, that that's a Bengal Tiger, and he owns it, but only twice a year. I'm taking week 14, Cincinnati Bengals at home.
Nice. Okay. 1 p.m. game against the Bengals. I got this down for Drew. All right, my pick here. All right, so
you got two of them coming.
Oh, I've got two of them coming.
Right.
Okay, well, the first one here, especially if this team drafts Kyler Murray, it's going to be a very easy win. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals on December 15th. That is a 4:05 game. We're going to be traveling to Arizona for this game. But Cardinals had a really rough year last year.
Yeah.
Going into the draft next week, I think the Cardinals would be best to trade down, avoid Kyler Murray. I'm still a Josh Rosen guy. I think he's going to be a better quarterback in this league. He just had a really tough year last year. So if they draft Kyler Murray, it's going to be an even easier win for the Browns. And
I can't agree with you, Rosen versus Murray, but I like the angle. I like the Baker Mayfield versus the college coach who didn't give him a scholarship, made him earn it. He earned it. He was the starting quarterback, and then he got mildly injured, and then still didn't get a scholarship. Yeah. And Baker gets to go up against that asshole again. So I'm looking forward to that game a lot. I almost picked it. I like the Bengals just because they were at home, and I think the Browns are going to be pretty tough at home, but that's a good pick.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter who's the quarterback for that game. I think Baker's going to put
his stare him down. You can stare him down. Is he going to treat him?
Look over the sideline and
yeah.
see the Hugh treatment. There you go. So there you go.
Take that, Cliff Kingsbury. Okay, my next one is on November 10th. We're going to circle the wagons on the Buffalo Bills. Bills, I think, are still in disarray. It's going to be at home, so we won't see any Bills fans crashing through tables, at least on their home turf. Maybe they'll make the trip to Cleveland, there'll be some tables crashing in the Muni lot maybe. But I think the Bills are. Who knows who will be playing quarterback? That's later on in the season. So it's still a 1 p.m. game. We haven't touched any of the nationally televised games. So 4 nationally televised games, the first time since 2008. But yeah, it's going to be regional coverage for when we beat up on these first couple teams. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills. And next pick up is Drew.
All right. Well, how about we pick a Monday night football game, the 40th anniversary of the first ever Monday night football game. I'm talking week 2, Cleveland Browns. Odell Beckham Jr. makes his triumphant return to MetLife Stadium in Moonachie, New Jersey, or wherever that is. Though I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that the Browns still have the better roster. They had the better roster last year when these two teams played. I think they still have the better roster, and I think that it's going to be fun to watch the Browns on Monday Night Football to see that sort of fanfare for Odell's return. And I think this is a team that is going to be up and to really get excited to play on national television. They did not get much of this last year at all. And this will be their first sort of big nationally televised game. I think it's their first Monday Night Football game in quite some time, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really looking forward to that one. We get Baker versus Darnold 2. I think Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. You're allowed to have 2 good quarterbacks in a draft class, right? Like we get into this like, the Jets suck because you don't have Baker, and that's probably true. But you're allowed to have 2 good quarterbacks, guys. It's okay. They're allowed to be somewhat excited about their quarterback too. And I'm looking forward to Baker versus Darnold 2, and I'm looking forward to that for many years to come.
Yeah, I'd be fine with 2 good quarterbacks in this past draft, but I'm not a Sam Darnold guy. I think it's I'm going to play the long game. I'm going to say Josh Rosen is going to come back.
Yeah, that's another bet I'm happy to make with you.
Certainly.
Yeah, I mean, Darnold is a good quarterback. I will admit that. He is a good quarterback, but Baker Mayfield is much more than a good quarterback.
He is more. He is indeed. No, there's no debate.
Yeah, no one is arguing.
It's just
Baker's
good and
number
much
one,
more than good. So.
Right.
We'll hopefully find that out in week 2.
All right, nice. We got a win earlier in the season. Eric, how early in the season do you want to make this next one?
Yeah, I'm on the polar opposites right now. Am I going to go week 1 or week 17?
You're not going to go week 1.
I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go. I think the Browns are still going to play their starters, but I think I'm going to go week 17 at Cincinnati. Tennessee was kind of enticing, but Zach Taylor, not the president, is the Bengals coach.
Oh, he dropped the Zach Taylor presidential reference, man.
Right around our age, he was an okay quarterback for Nebraska. Couldn't get a defensive coordinator for the Bengals. I do not have high hopes. Yes, the Browns should wallop them at home, and I don't see why they shouldn't do it on the road as well. The only thing I could see is that the Browns, God willing, we have a bye and we could rest some of our starters. But nonetheless, I wouldn't be surprised if Baker said, no, I don't care if we have the bye. It was the way the Giants did in 2007 against the Patriots. They had the bye, but they still wanted to play them because they want to play their starters, and it's very important. So I expect a good win over the Cincinnati Bengals that week.
I like it. Okay, before you make your next pick here, so we're 6 picks in. We've got 6 that are going to be probably pretty probable for the Browns. We've got 2 wins against the Bengals. We've got the Cardinals. We've got the Dolphins. And we've got the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. I'm sorry, in the beginning of the season. Now it's going to start getting a little bit more difficult here, or maybe we're just going to go undefeated, and we'll all be right.
Do you want to switch the order at all, or do you want to just keep rolling with it?
Yeah, let's just keep rolling with it.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Sort of.
Well, that's good because
style.
I obviously didn't realize that I had 2 picks in a row, which I was going back between 2 picks, but then I realized I had 2 picks. Anyway, so I will go next in line. I'm just going to go with the opening game of the Tennessee Titans then. I had another game to decide between this. Marcus Mariota has been very underwhelming. I remember sitting 2 feet from where I'm at now, 4 years ago for the draft, and everybody giving the Browns a lot of, I don't want to swear, they're giving them a hard
Crap.
time that they couldn't take Marcus Mariota or Jameis Winston, and neither of them are looking like franchise quarterbacks. And obviously we didn't have one at the point, but it appeared neither of them are now. So I mean, they got a Derrick Henry. They got a couple decent players. I really like what Mike Vrabel's brought toughness to the team, but I think the Browns just have more talent than them. And I think the changes the Browns have made this year in the offseason is going to overwhelm the Tennessee defense. So that's what I got. With the next
I don't think they can win week 1. I think that they're incapable of doing so. Until I see it happen, I don't think the Cleveland Browns are capable of winning on week 1.
It's a tough one.
It's happened like once in my lifetime, I want to say. So.
It's going to be at home.
They'll be at home. They'll be against a very beatable team. There's no excuse. I have to see this happen to believe it.
You gotta win it. All right, Drew. Let's move on to you with the next pick in the Browns pick'em here.
Okay. I think I'm going to go week 5, Monday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. This is a team that was not great last year, but they have more talent than that record indicates, namely at the quarterback position where they will get Jimmy Garoppolo back. He'll be healthy, and he looked to be a pretty good player. And so if he, is as good as he looked in those couple hints of flashes with Kyle Shanahan, this is probably a pretty poor selection on my part. But this is a team that lost plenty of games last year. This is a team that has holes at the skill positions outside of running back. They have a pretty good stable of running backs: Matt Breida, Jerick McKinnon. They have a decent offensive line as well. But the skill positions don't scare me very much. Outside of that, Kittle had a wonderful season for a tight end. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's one of the best at that particular position, but I need to see him do that again. So, and I don't think they have much on the defensive side. I'm not worried about the pass rush, and I think the Browns can run the ball against that team, because a lot of teams were able to do just that last year. So I will take another Monday Night Football game because I am confident in this team under the bright lights. It feels like a team that will rise to that type of an occasion.
All right. I like the nationally televised game there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go big or go home here. I've got 2 picks. I'm going to start off with us beating down the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thursday Night Football. That's an 8:20 game, November 14th. I think Ben and his squad is going to be broken down by that point, missing Antonio Brown, missing Le'Veon Bell, even though they missed him last year too. But I don't know.
They lost
him.
their offensive line coach too. That's like,
right.
Nobody talks about it. He was the guy that game planned all that. They had like 5 different blocking schemes that they ran. It was impressive, and he's gone, and that's wonderful.
So we are going to, start making new history here and turn things around at home. That's going to be a big game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another big game. I don't know if this will be very high on the Browns win list for many people, but I'm going to go at home against the Los Angeles Rams. That is
nice.
In week 3.
Wow.
The Rams having to make the trip to Cleveland. None of their fans are going to be making that trip to Cleveland from Los Angeles. It's going to be rocking there at First Energy Stadium. The team is going to be very excited to play that game, and we are going to shock the world, shock the Super Bowl contending Los Angeles Rams, and the Browns are going to be taken for real on Sunday Night Football. And if that will make my picks if we win those 2, because I don't know if they're the most probable, but I'll take them.
Hey, man, if you're going to leave them out there, I will happily run to the bank week 9 against the Denver Broncos. They beat this team last year, and they have gotten way better. And there's nothing on that Broncos squad that makes me think they're going to be any better than they were last year. I think that that they left some wins on the table. I think they have some decent players, but there's no quarterback there that scares me. I don't think they're going to scheme their way to beating the Browns. I think that the Denver Broncos are very much a 6-10, 7-9 type of a team. And I think the Browns will have no business losing that game. They have I don't think they'll have much trouble beating Denver because they beat them last year, and they're much better than they were. So I will happily run to the bank Week 9 against the Broncos.
The Broncos also have Joe Flacco, a quarterback, who's not been great the last couple of years, and now they're going to beat the Joe Flacco-less Ravens in Week 4 at home is my next selection. They beat them last year on a very ugly and miserable win.
Week 4 is in Baltimore. Does that change your mind?
Oh,
so you're saying December 22nd.
We're going to switch that to Week 16.
Week 16? Yes. Okay.
Yes. M&T Bank Stadium that I went with Drew many moons ago.
Yes.
That's not a fun place to be, especially for a away team. So we'll just push that down to the side. So good call. I will go with Week 16. Yeah, I mean, you've seen, what is it, Pro Football Focus had the top receiving core. Browns were first in the league. Ravens were last in the league. Obviously, there are many other positions than receiver, but when you also have a good quarterback throwing to them versus a running back who can throw,
nice.
That's a good start. So, I think this is the year the Browns really, like I said, put their foot on the throat of the opponents in the division and get a win. And the end of the season doesn't look terribly tough, and winning at home against Baltimore prior to the season finale against the Bengals is looking good for the Browns.
It could very well be a sort of a de facto AFC North championship game if everything goes sort of according to plan. The winner of that game could very well be the winner of the division. So definitely looking forward to it. Hoping to go to that game actually.
Nice.
Who knows who will be the quarterback for the Ravens by then?
But they don't have one. They don't play one. They play two running backs in the backfield, Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram. So they'll have a tough running back tandem, but they don't really play quarterback. Maybe RG3's playing at that point.
Right, yeah.
Could be. All right, Eric, do you have one more here?
I'm gonna go. I think he's gonna get full of his excitement and his money and making.
I was hoping you'd let one more slip to me.
I'm gonna say Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. The thing I got, it's a 1:00 kickoff at home. That's the it's 10:00 on Pacific time. They're gonna be all thrown off.
I like
it. But that's what the old excuse was. Now we have better players. So I think we got a good chance in that game. I mean, their team has been paired away so much since they went to the Super Bowl in 2011, 2012, I forget which year. But I mean, Russell Wilson's still a very good quarterback, but I think Myles Garrett and the defense is going to make it a little more difficult to him, and Baker Mayfield in the offense is gonna make it very challenging, and we got the dog pound. We're gonna show them who the real 12-man Baker. The dog pound. Which one's the best fan base we got in the league? So, what do we got?
All right, Drew. This is your last pick, and you leave me with the last two. So choose.
Yeah, wisely. You got sort of a tough draw here, right? I was asking if you wanted to maybe switch this thing up because that doesn't look like fun. These last picks are pretty tough. Like realistically, they're probably not going to win many of these last couple of games here. We're talking. The ones on the board, for those of you following along at home, we have Week 4 at Baltimore that Eric almost picked. We have Week 8 at New England, and we have Week 13 at Pittsburgh. So, what do we do here? I think that Pittsburgh is going to be worse than Baltimore. I think they are about to get a dose of lofty expectations meeting the sobering reality of life without the best offensive line coach in the league and without the best wide receiver in the league, or one of the best. That's splitting hairs at that point. And you're about to see what happens when you lose two of the best at their game. I'm talking Mike Munchak, the offensive line coach. He is not there anymore. And we sort of mentioned it when Ryan picked this game at home, which was a much better pick than what I am left with. But they are not going to have the guy that put together all those schemes. They're just not. The Steelers fans will argue that there's some understudy to Munchak that is the coach now, and they won't miss a beat. But there's a reason that you have stars of plays and you have understudies. It's because they're not as good. If this guy was that good, he would have gotten a gig coaching the offensive line. It's just how these things work. So I don't think the Steelers' offensive line will be what it has been in the past. I'm not suggesting these guys will forget, how to play. But the Steelers have the number one ranked offensive line, and that was due almost entirely not because they are significantly more talented, but because they had the best coach in the league putting that together. And you lose the best wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the league. That combination, coupled with, I don't think their secondary is very good, and I think their pass rush overperformed what that talent level is last year. So I will reluctantly take Week 13 at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, that leaves me with an October 27th battle in New England against the Patriots. Hope we can massage our way to a victory in that one. And then I'm also left with a game at Baltimore. That'll be they'll still have their quarterback / running back at that point.
They'll still have their running back stable, most likely, Week 4.
So it's going to be a tough one to go to Baltimore, to New England. But I'm still predicting victory. So there you have it. The Browns are going to be 16-0 and
nice.
On our way to the Super Bowl. And we'll see what happens with these picks here. All right, we had a heavy focus on the Browns schedule, but with the final promo, we're going to kick it back to the Indians as they've won quite a few games against the Mariners and are trending back upwards after a bad streak against the Royals. And a lot of excitement around the Indians. Jason Kipnis is back with the squad. Francisco Lindor has been down in Columbus. He had a homer in his first game. He went 0-4 in his second appearance, but it looks like he is going to come back to Cleveland on Friday, have his ankle checked out, and at that point, he might return to the team. So with all those maneuvers and a lot of other transactions, maybe the loss of Brad Miller, are the Indians going to have more hits? They're at the bottom of the league as far as hits go. Are all these changes going to be the solution to all of our ills? Eric, let's go to you with this one. Do you think things are going to finally turn around with the Indians' bats?
Yeah, it's not the reason why they swept the Mariners, but truly believe that Kipnis' reemergence into this offense has really sparked the team. And Frankie Lindor, I mean, he's going to hit the pitching no matter when he gets back. Hopefully it's this Friday. He's a great hitter. He might not come back immediately. He might only get a couple singles here and there before he starts getting rolling. But those two are really going to help the team. Brad Miller, who is a Nugget, by the way, I've been really disappointed in his play, as well as more disappointed with his comments of saying that other players who are worse than him, who I can only think of one player who has my first name.
That's your guy, though.
I mean, that's not really the best way you want to exit a club. I don't know too many other people that would want him, but, to each their own. I'd probably keep it to myself, especially if you're trying to fight another position. He's also cleared waivers, by the way, and with going unclaimed. But yeah, I mean, those two are definitely going to help the team. Additionally, Jose Ramirez, he's been struggling. That's a given. Batting 154 in his 17 games played prior to tonight. His worst of his career was 219 in 2015. His slugging percentage is 246. His worst also is 340, also in 2015. His WAR is negative 0.02, whereas career is 21.8. What is it good for? I don't know, but it's not very good this year.
Go on, get your WAR up. Come on, Jose.
So, yeah, I mean,
he did have a homer. That was nice.
Right? No. I mean, yeah. I will say that he's going to get back on track. He's a good hitter. I mean, it's his 7th year in the league. He knows what he's doing. I would prefer to have him have better players around him. That would really be really huge around him. I mean, he's been surrounded by a lot of doink the clowns on this team, and we don't need those. And I like I said, I really think we can start getting the ball rolling. I prefer more players, but with the guys we got, some of our big hitters coming back, I think we're going to have a good shot of starting to get out of the basement in terms of hits and runs for this offense.
Okay, just so to set the record straight, it was Brad Miller a Denver Nugget or a Nugget in the Owen Hart
of
vein?
Course, the Owen Hart.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So the Indians have somehow pieced their way to 11-7, despite being the worst hitting team in Major League Baseball. That is not sustainable. I will say it right now. That is not sustainable. You will not be, have a .621 winning percentage if you are the worst hitting team in the major leagues all year. It cannot maintain for the rest of the season. But I'm hopeful that Jose Ramirez figures it out. I'm hopeful that Jason Kipnis, continues to play pretty good, maybe gets a little better. I'm not asking him to turn back the clock to 2015, but the team obviously needs him to be, his old self this year. And you just hope that Carlos Santana can keep up the pace that he's on. I mean, if it weren't for Carlos Santana, coming back home and figuring out his life somehow, I don't know where this team would be. So that's been a wonderful surprise, and I really hope that he can keep it going until Francisco Lindor is back, until Jose Ramirez figures it out, and hopefully Jason Kipnis can come back and put the NWO sort of squad back together.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with the lineup. Frankie will probably be the leadoff hitter. Where do we do with Leonis Martin after that? Do we move him down to the 9 spot? Does he go 2? Do Jose Ramirez at 3? Definitely Carlos Santana at 4. It could change around everything with the Indians hitting, and should be very interesting to see. Kipnis has been pretty good at coming back as well, so let's keep these guys healthy, and it's going to be a lot more fun. But Indians pitching has been incredible so far this year. Carlos Carrasco tonight had a great performance, 3-hitter, no earned runs. Yeah, he was due. 7 innings pitched. He's played great. Bieber great. Bauer great. And go Tribe. And the Browns, as we've proven it tonight, we've shown a path. They're going to be undefeated. And we'll see who they draft, who wants to be a part of the undefeated team next week. So thank you guys for joining. I've got the record here. We'll see who wins the bet, but I guess we all win if they win all the games.
There you go.
We'll talk again next week.
Look forward to some draft talk next week.
Exactly. Can't wait.
Sounds good. Go Tribe.